Hello friends, let's continue with our automation of our Active Directory services. Now we created our AD board and we already have a function called expose run command, but there is one thing which I want to mention here. We put one port here 19961, which is the default port of RPYC server. But let's say if when we compile this AD board to a exe and then someone wants to change, or maybe admin wants to change the port number to something else, then they cannot, because this is hard coded in our py file. So we will add a functionality where in our adboard.exe, if you provide a command line argument called port, then you can actually change this port number without going in the py file, because our idea is we will compile that and make an exe and put that on our server. So even the Python not installed on that server, we are able to execute that. So let's just create a argparse, a parser command line argument that will make our life easy. So let's just start with importing argparse first. Import argparse. And this is Python default library. You no need to download it. Once you install Python, you will see argparse. Okay, let me just organize my main code properly. So let me just cut this and let me create a function called main, and then I will call this main function here, and this is just to clean my code a little bit. That's why it's nothing related to the coding. Even I can write all this stuff here just to clean up things. Okay, so let me just start with create a parser first, and the parser you can create from argparser dot, and then you need to get a class argument parser, and in that argument parser the only one thing that you need to provide is the description, which is important in our case, is where we will just say, hey, this is a Active Directory board. Okay, and then second thing that we need to provide is the argument that we want in our application to be executed in the command line mode. So let's just add a parser dot add argument. Okay, in that dot argument you need to provide some argument, right? So the first thing is the name. What we want to put, the name is port. So somebody go or exe, for example, adboard.exe and then port, right? So this, and the port will be something like that, and then this port will be executed with this exe, and that's what we want, something like that, right? Okay, so let's just add a port, and the second argument will be the type. So we make sure the user type a integer, not a string, not a name or something like that. Let's just put a help there, and in that help is enter custom port number. Okay, so this will be our help. So somebody will go AD board and then dash h, and it will show this help there. Okay, so now we're done with the parser. Add argument is already done, and now we need to read that data. If somebody type a port, and then we need to get that inside our Python file. So how are we going to do that? And to read all the arguments from the parser, you need to, let me just create a variable first, and in that variable we will start with our parser that we created here, right? And from that parser you can actually get all your parse arguments. So with that arguments, args is now contain all your arguments which is passed in the command line when this application is executed. So for example, if you have multiple arguments like this, these all will be contained here. Obviously the name will be different, something like if you want port, IP, or blah 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 blah, something like that. So that's what you need to understand that. So it's good to go with one single example, single argument, and then you can multiply. If you understand the concept, everything will be fine later on. So right now we get the args here, but to read the port number you need to say hey args dot and the name of your argument, and in our case the name is port, so we need to read the port here, and then we just put this into a variable called port. Okay, so with that, this is our user input port, and now we need to replace this with this port. Right, very simple. When user type a port and this will update, but here there is a problem, and the problem is if user did not provide any port, your application won't work. So we need to put a condition there, and the condition will be if not port, that means if user did not add any port, then we will provide a default port number which is 19961, the RPYC default port. Then in that case you will get a default port even the user did not provide anything. So as of now we just did, let me just recap what I did in this argument parser thing. We just created a parser, and in that parser we add some argument, and these arguments we read it here with these two lines, and then if somebody execute this AD board application with dash port and the port number will override this number. Okay, so with that you can easily create the command line arguments for your application also. We will see this in live once we compile that into a exe, which we're gonna cover in my next video. So I will catch you in my next video.